Hey yo, it's Jochen Hayden, and I'm back with the Desert Wolf versus Wirraway Ace War in the Pacific campaign. This is scenario 1 with stacking limits, and today we're going to check out December 14th, 1942. Okay, that's kind of random. A Dutch dot base gets grabbed in the Dutch East Indies near Java. Kind of late for that now, isn't it? Of course, that unloading is just supply. Mm-hmm. Just the merger so far. That's us on the west coast. Hmm. What was that? Hmm. All right. No naval combat this turn that I can see. So we're going right into the air combat phase, AM. We'll start up with some patrol planes spotting ships wherever they're at. A lot of activity over there in the ocean, Indian Ocean. Oh, sorry. I've been drinking White Claws. I listen. My girlfriend left me. You know, I wanted to get him out of my fridge. Anyway, back into China with some sweeps. Oh, there's our boy. You know who that is, right? That's old Richard Bong. His boys are flying P-38s out of Macon, doing a sweep over K. Found nothing. Okay, we got some P-38Es sweeping over Ailing Lap Lap, and I'm gonna tell you right now, these P-38s are gonna eat these Zeros lunch all day. Yep, this is yeah. So basically, what's happening here is these Zeros. Oh man, they're on long range cap, and the way long range cap works, even set to 100%, you only get 1/3 of a squadron over the target at any given time. So if you have a squadron size of 30, only 10 of them are actually going to be over the target, right? Because the game thinks, okay, 1/3's going to be flying over the target, 1/3's going to be on the ground rearming, refueling, and 1/3's going to be in transit. So if you're gonna do this, you want to go heavy. This piecemeal stuff is not gonna hold up against a P-38 sweep, as you can see. At long range, cap is different than cap. Cap can come up from the base set. Oh, that's over. From the base itself, but Ailing Lap Lap doesn't have a base, so they had to be flown in from somewhere else. This was a waste of Zeros to do this. He had to know that this would be swept by P-38s, and a small handful of Zeros is no match for these guys at all. And okay, group patrol altitude is 5,000 feet. These guys were set up to deal with bombers, not to deal with the sweep. Okay, Betty's coming in here. And you know what? You see this? There's ships here. He may be trying to reinforce this place. Pretty decent bombing rate. And again, we have bombers sitting China, and I don't know why he's using these things here. These Betties should be out in the Pacific doing something more important. Unless he already has G4M2s, that's like the next iteration of the Betty. Maybe he's saving these G4M1s just for backcountry missions like this, and he's got the G4M2s out in operation. Well, okay, maybe not. These are G4M1s as well, and I would think he'd want the 2s if he had them out here. I don't know exactly when you get the 2s. Yikes. Okay, at least one Betty shot down by flak. And they're bombing very high and at extended range, so I can't see that attack being all that useful. Okay, more Betties coming in here. A lot of Betties. I don't understand why he's using them in China. There's got to be a better use for these. Unless he's just training these pilots. That could be it. And what better place to train pilots than China? And this is one distinct advantage that I feel like the Japanese have over the Allies. So the Allies have this off-base training, and experiments have proven that it's faster to train skills there. But training experience, the best way of training pilots for experience is operational missions, right? And the Allies, for a big part of the war, don't have the capability of flying operational missions, at least with their bombers, right? The fighters you can put in cap, they can fly cap over their own base, on map and gain experience that way. But the bomber pilots are a lot harder to train. And the Japanese have the world's best operational training base in China and lots of targets. So the Japanese get to train their bomber pilots on and get tons of experience. And then from there you can continue training skills, but the experience is a lot harder to train without flying missions. So I guess that maybe that might be what's going on with these Betties out here. Oh, and of course we got these crappy Sonyas. It's probably the exact same thing. These Sonyas are hot garbage, and everybody knows it. Wirraway knows they're useless, but they're chock full of pilots, right? And if you can get these pilots a lot of experience, just flying these missions, even though they're not hurting anything, they're gaining experience. So I'm guessing he's using these Sonyas in the same way as the Betties, because he knows these ain't gonna do crap. I hate Sonyas. Useless. Hey, speaking of Sonyas, I learned something really fun. Okay, B-26 is an ailing lap lap. Did you know that Charles Lindbergh actually shot down a Sonya while flying a P-38 in World War II? Now, even Charles Lindbergh hated Sonyas. Okay, pretty decent bombing raid over ailing lap lap. Of course, when you destroy a squad for the Japanese, it's bad out here. Unless they're getting a lot of reinforcements. B-25's coming in. Another good raid. Look at that. Ah! These guys are getting beat up. B-24 is hitting K. Oh, bomber. Look at this. Oh, man. I don't know what to say. It just really bothers me that Wirraway allows this to happen. Why were these guys not in cap? Well, I get why the P-38s would have swept them anyway, but it's just a lose-lose. So pull them out, man. So many aircraft have been lost on the ground. I wonder if this is standard ops or if this is just Desert Wolf being that good. I haven't seen a ton of Japanese campaigns, but I've also never seen so many aircraft destroyed on the ground as I have in this campaign. So, tell me, is this normal? It didn't seem like it. lot of recon missions right now. Okay, another sweep of Malloy Lap. Nothing there. Okay, that's the AM phase. Moving into the PM phase next. Dang. And you can really tell there's a distinct difference in the quality of the ASW pilots for the Japanese and the Allies. For the Allies, we constantly see reported as hit, right? You're not going to get that unless your ASW pilots have at least 60 skill in ASW. We don't see it at all for the Japanese, so I don't think their pilots are up to snuff for hunting subs. Well, that's it for the air phase. Not much to talk about in the PM side. Oh, well, man. I think last video I was mentioning that, if Wirraway's not careful, the Allies might come down here and react, but it would be terrible if Deswolf sent a bunch of heavy cruisers down here to deal with his heavy cruisers and he runs into one of these bad boys. They will slice and dice those cruisers all day. The Hyuga, the Issei, Fuso, Yamashiro, those are more than capable of obliterating any heavy cruiser the Allies have. And probably not take much damage in the process, so you have to be careful not to run into these guys. See, there you go. Oh, make it worse. The Mutsu the Nagato are here too, and these have 16-inch guns, as if these guys aren't bad enough. Pretty decent bombardment here. Okay. Whoa. What? What? Oh, dang. Okay. Wirraway is turning up the heat. The Haruna is a Congo class battleship or a battle cruiser, depending on your interpretation. Fast battleship. So he's really not wanting to lose Ailing Lap Lap, so he's coming here to bombard that. So we have the Congo and the Haruna. Let's see what else we have and let's see what they get done. Whoa. Yikes, dude. So with the Congo and the Haruna, dang, Kako, Furitaka, Kamano, Suzuya, Makuma. These are pretty small, heavy cruisers. These are some big ones. I believe Kumano, Suzuya, and Mikuma are all part of the. Dang it. They're in the same class. Mogami. I think they're all Mogami class, which I believe are some of the top end of the Japanese heavy cruisers. So that's a lot of damage here. And the parachute regiments or battalions don't have a lot of squads in them to begin with. So this is a pretty damaging raid. I didn't see this coming at all. It's bold. It's bold and I like it. So now we know we're at least a significant portion of Japanese battleships are, right? We know where the Nagato and the Mutsu, Yamashiro, Issei. Okay, I'll stop talking. We're already in the to land combat here. Um, I don't think this is going to go particularly well. It looks like the Allies brought in some heavy reinforcements here. This corps looks new to the area. That's a lot of AV on times 3 terrain. Let's see what happens. My guess is the Japanese don't do well. What do you think? Here we go. Yeah, I would say that's pretty crappy. I'd say it's really bad. It seems like a huge waste. Double the casualties, way more destroyed squads, devices. This was a bad attack. He needs to knock it off. That was a wolf. Stop it. Get some help. Wait. Wirraway, not Desert Wolf. Wirraway, stop it. Get some help. Okay, not much here. Okay, bombardment at Tugula. Bombardment at Nauru. No big deal. Wow. Okay. Santa Barbara. I really like Santa Barbara. Adak, that's one of my favorite bases on the map. Santa Barbara is in California, and I've been up there about 6 months ago with my girlfriend for a little weekend getaway. It's really pretty. Actually, all of California right now, we've had so much rain this year. Everything is green. We have poppies on the mountains, poppy flowers. My backyard is like 10 feet tall. It's just beautiful in California right now. I haven't seen it this green in years. We were previously in a drought, but not anymore. Now we're just like underwater. We can't even breathe. That has absolutely nothing to do with this video, though, so I'll stop talking about that. Let's see if we have any arrivals this turn. Ooh, okay. Escort carriers coming into Balboa. Destroyer, Cape Town. I don't know what all this is about. A lot of rivals this turn. Marchfield, hey, that's where I work. That's my real life base that I'm at in the Air Force. Okay, wow. A lot of bombardments this turn. That'll be fun to take a look at that. Okay, let's look at the intelligence report. The Japanese brought out the big guns this turn. All right, we will start with aircraft losses. Unfortunately, another really bad day for the Japanese. 31 aircraft lost to 3 for the Allies. They got swept. They got bombed on the ground. All the worst things that could happen to them happened. So, Allied losses are basically 2 sky trains, which are basically DC-3, C-47s. And, yeah, CW-22, a Dutch plane. No pilot losses this turn. Army lost points for the turn. The Allies took 7 and the Japanese 9. Ship sunk. No ship sunk this turn. Political points. So Desert Wolf took out his checkbook and spent some this last turn. 96 points were spent. Overall for the turn, the Allies gained 24 points, bringing the Japanese win ratio down to 1.592. So we'll fire up the old combat reporter. Take a look at what happened this turn. No sea engagements, but we had a bombardment at Koko with the Hyuga, Issei, Yamashiro, Mutsu, and Nagato. And you may be asking, where's the Fuso at? Well, the Fuso got sunk in this campaign months and months ago. So that's why you don't see it with its sister ship. It's gone. So we're minus 1 Japanese battleship, but a lot of losses were inflicted there. Also, we had the Haruna and the Congo and 5 heavy cruisers, bombing the paratroopers on Ailing Laplap, and that was pretty devastating to them, and I'll show you why in just a little while. For ground, we had just some bombardment attacks at Nauru and Tagula. However, the Japanese launched a deliberate attack up here in the mountains south of Lanchao, and that went terribly for them again. Despite the best of the units they could possibly have, right? They got the heavy gun regiment there, a lot of heavy artillery, tanks, infantry, you name it, they got it. And this is the kind of losses they're taking. A lot of destroyed squads here versus almost no destroyed squads for the Allies. This is no good. Another bombardment here near Chengte, and it's the same old story every turn. Nothing noteworthy there. For air, it was a little active. Malloy Lap had a sweep done to it. Nothing was found there. Kai Island had Bong's unit come in there. Sweep ahead, they found nothing, but the B-24s went in unopposed and destroyed a lot of aircraft on the ground. And I don't really understand what the mindset is here for Wirraway. If you're going to defend it, defend it. If not, get the aircraft out because they will be destroyed on the ground. I know he doesn't watch these videos, so he doesn't hear what I'm saying, but it's a pattern. It's a very recognizable pattern with the Japanese and losing aircraft on the ground. I just feel like it's not the best way to go about doing this. But again, who am I to criticize Wirraway? He's got 20 years on this game, and I've got 1. So I'm sure there's a method to his madness here. Okay, now, there was a sweep over Ailing Laplap by some P-38Es, and they completely wiped out all of the Japanese Zeros that were on, which would appear to be long-range cap. And again, I don't get this. Either commit fully or don't commit at all, because this little piecemeal long-range cap thing had no chance to survive against P-38 sweeping. So I don't really understand this either. Either go on full or don't go on at all. Japanese bombing at K Island didn't get much done. A bunch of aerial bombardments in China, nothing to speak of, worth, nothing to discuss. The Naval Guard unit on Ailing, which is basically those parachute infantry guys' main opposition, took a bit of losses by a B-26 raid. Another B-25 raid came in and damaged other units in the area. But the second, actually both USMC parachute battalions were attacked by Bettys, and these did knock out quite a bit of squads into disabled. Let's take a look at SIGINT. Nothing super noteworthy here. The usual radio transmissions detected. Kwajalein, Tulagi, Roynamore are all in the general area, right? So here's Roynamore. There's Kwajalein. You got Tulagi down here. There's going to be a lot of activity at these places because there's a lot of activity on the Allied side nearby. So he's frantically pushing buttons, clicking things, and trying to get these places set up for the impending doom that's coming. Located, I already went through this. I didn't see anything super important here. And look at this. 2nd Air Division is planned for an attack on Darwin. So what is that? Well, I don't buy it. I think it's just a SIGINT spoof or something like that. Or maybe a relic from a time long ago where the Japanese had aspirations for attacking the northern part of Australia. But I will say this. Darwin is pretty weak right now. There's hardly anything there. The Emery Point Fort is very ominous for the Japanese, right? When Lodrick attacked my base in my campaign, these guys did a lot of damage to his ships. He lost a few ships to that. I don't think he's going to attack, but even if he really wanted to, he could probably take this place. But then what do you do after that? There's nowhere really to go. All right, let's talk about the ops report. So arrivals, we had Swanee and Sangamon arriving at Balboa. These are escort carriers. You can take a look at these. These are of the same class, and they come with aircraft aboard and are ready to go. The pilots are of reasonable quality when they come in on the map. They're not the best, they're not the worst. You know, they're acceptable. But yeah, these are ready to head out into the ocean somewhere. We'll keep an eye on where these guys go over time. Taking a look at intel, I did notice that ADAC expanded to port size 7, and that's over here. And this is one of my favorite bases in the whole Aleutian Island chains. At a size 7 port, this place is a great jumping off point for future operations in the northern part of Japan and or the Kuril Islands. Size 7 port allows you to do a lot of stuff, so this place is set up for anything he wants to do going out this way if he ever wants to go there. Looking at the pilots, I did notice this. One of Gary Grigsby's cousins, brothers, or nephews, somebody got a kill. So Grigsby W, congratulations. Refit. We had this guy going in, the William Ward Burroughs. It's a pretty uninspiring troop ship, and it went in there to get some anti-aircraft guns put on or something. I'm surprised the game even bothers talking about it. All right, last thing I wanted to show you was under the unknown tab. This is what Combat Reporter kind of just grabs all the stuff that it has nowhere else to put and dumps it in here. We can see that Desert Wolf is continuing to transport the 2nd and the 3rd Parachute Battalion into Ailing Lap Lap, but I'm going to show you here shortly, he may be feeding these guys in just to a big old meat grinder. Also, take a look at this. We have PBYs transporting the 24th New Zealand Pioneer Company onto Ongtong, Java. We have PBYs pulling the 1st Parachute Battalion out of there. And we also have more PBYs dropping off a Royal Australian Air Force maintenance detachment on Tagula. So stuff's being moved around to continue to reinforce the newly held possessions. So just want to show you that. And the rest you can take a look at yourself. It's not really worth commenting on. Okay, so that is Combat Reporter. We're done with that. So let's talk about the turn. And we will we'll talk about China, where we always start. So we had another attack here this turn. And as you can see, the Chinese did a pretty decent job defending here. This Indian mountain gun regiment is basically trashed, fully disabled or disrupted. I don't even know what you would call that. This would be disorganized if they were on the move. And all their devices are disabled. However, this unit here, some of these other units are in great shape. Like this 7th Corps has plenty of life left in it, right? Good morale, low disruption. I don't really know what Wirraway's end state is here, or end game, but I think he's kind of stuck right now. Here, and this whole line drive by the Japanese to here has amounted to nothing. So I don't even know what the point of it was. I just see a giant stalemate here in China. On top of that, I see nothing happening in Burma either. Hardly any bombing raids, no ground movement, just troops being shuffled around. But I'm having trouble seeing what the objective and goal here in Burma is either. I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm sure there is. Desert Wolf and Wirraway are way smarter than I am when it comes to this game, but I am having trouble looking at this ground situation and determining what is supposed to be happening at this point. So I'm just going to sit back and watch, and maybe somebody will do something here and I'll get a glimpse as to what it is that's happening, but I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know what it is. Let's come over here to Koko. The Japanese are really invested in this right now, and they had a bunch of battleships coming in here last turn to bombard. One thing I think is funny is that they keep missing these guys, right? This place has been bombarded multiple times. Never once have any of these aircraft been hit. But the base is taking damage, right? Let me show you. We got damage piling up. And on top of that, we have no supply. Look at that. We're down to nothing. So these guys are going to start starving pretty soon. They're pretty heavily disrupted, as you can see. And they're out of supply. All they have is what's on their persons, right? After this, there's nothing to supply them further. Desert Wolf continues bringing in these sub resupply missions, but as long as the Japanese continue to shuttle bombard this place, it's going to eat up all the supply as fast as it can get brought in. So I don't know what Wirraway's goal is here either. I don't know what he's trying to do with this, but this garrison is going to start dying on the vine pretty soon. I don't know if it's in a position where it can be invaded. I don't think Wirraway has the capability of taking this place outright. But these guys aren't going anywhere for sure. Not for a long time. Keep a quick peek on Tagula. We do have a what is this? An American Bristol class destroyer just patrolling the area. You can see here we are starting to bring in. Oh, it's Tagula. I'm sorry. We're starting to bring in this engineer unit to start building up the base and get it set up for additional operations, right? So this is, I thought this was an aviation support unit. It's just an engineer unit, but that's not a bad thing because this base isn't very heavily developed. So he can start building on the airfield and the fort if he wants to. Well, I don't even know if it's even worthwhile building the fort up, but at least get this airfield sized up to size 5. And then he can start operating his heavy bombers out of here too. The goal is looking okay. These guys are rested up probably as good as they're going to get for a while. Maybe one more turn and he can start attacking these Japanese troops again. Living out in the jungle. Just taking a peek at the ships that are in the area. Look at that. Ooh, look at Rabal. You see that? 125 fighters. Wow, something's going on there. Tulagi, just some support stuff. A lot of troops, though. And then you saw the old switcheroo here at Ontong Java, right? Look at that. Building up fortifications already. So we've got engineers on the island. And more are going to be flown in. So we have them at Ndeni and Numea, and they'll be flown into Ontong Java to build us up into another base for the Americans, or allies rather. And now we get to the big place, the Marshalls, K Island, Nauru. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Nauru is status quo. Just not much happening here. A little bit of bombardment. These guys are slowly recovering though. A little bit of supplies trickling in every day. Ailing Lap Lap. Remember the bombardment right by the Congo and the Haruna and the heavy cruisers? This is why I think this is turning into a meat grinder. Desert Wolf continues to drop additional devices into these units on the island. But look at this. All of the units are now disabled. Everything in parentheses is disabled. Look at that. So now, if these units start taking more damage next turn, they're going to start eating right into this disabled, start killing devices. And I think that Wirraway has the naval assets in the area to continue bombarding and causing heavy damage to these troops here. And pretty soon, if in a couple days, if Desert Wolf isn't careful, these parachute regiments are just going to get wiped out completely. Because I don't know if he's got what he needs to get more troops into the area with the Kido Butai hanging out just out here, possibly. I mean, we don't really know where it's at. But I think it's just probably just hanging out just outside of spotting range, right? Let me show you again. Oh, why does it not show me the rings? Oh. I think I know why. Let me see if I can make it show some rings. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't want to show rings. Oh, whatever. It doesn't want to show rings today. I think I've got a F5 button or something. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Ah, forget it. I don't want to be pushing buttons all day. Anyway, this could be a meat grinder. So I'm sure Des Wolf is aware of that, and at some point he'll call it off. I don't really know what's going to happen here. And then, okay, we had the bombing attack here on K Island, and the Japanese elected not to defend it. And again, tons of aircraft destroyed on the ground. I don't really understand it. Again, I already told you that I don't know why Wirraway does that with his aircraft, but I'm sure he's got a bigger plan. Here are the troops on the island. They're more or less intact, right? The disruption is low. The fatigue is okay. They have plenty of supply. This is a substantial amount of troops to hold the island, and they have supply for a while. But I don't know how long they're going to want to hold out for. And we don't know where the Kido Butai is at. They could very well be just right here. Or maybe he's left. Maybe he's gone on the truck. Maybe he's relocating somewhere else. We don't know because we don't have good spotting. So, segueing into that, let's find out where the American carriers are at. There they are. Once again, they're continuing to Melbourne, and I don't get it. I don't know why they're going there. Guys, help me out. What's going on here? What is this? There's nothing here other than these units that are destined for Port Moresby. Are they going to Port Moresby? Is that what this is? If they are, he's going to need to buy these guys up pretty soon, and that's going to cost... he's got enough political points. So when you keep them inside of their major commands, like going from here into the second Australia Corps or something like that, it only costs 1/4 this amount to do it. So he has the points to buy these units out to do it. I just don't know if that's the point of this carrier task force heading to Melbourne. So we'll continue watching this. But again, I'm looking for your feedback and input, anybody but Desert Wolf, as to why you think all 6 of the American big boys are heading to Melbourne. I could not figure it out. If we were allies, I would think, I'm sorry, if I were the Japanese and they were doing this, maybe some sort of SIGINT spoofing, but I don't know why the allies are doing it. So let me hear your thoughts. So what we need to find out is where the Kido Butai is now. We don't know where they're at. Next, we need to find out what's going to happen here at Ailing Lap Lap. As far as paratroopers and the Japanese, they're just duking it out. And I don't know what the long-term prognosis is for this, but it's not going particularly well anymore. It started off great for the Allies, and now it's not so great. And finally, what are the Japanese doing out here, and what is the plan? If you have some ideas as to what you think Wirraway's up to, I'd like to hear that too. But in the meantime, all that's left to say is I will catch you guys on the next one.